The night power meant nothing. In 1974, Harlem was loud by day, restless by night. Jazz spilled from basement clubs, numbers runners whispered on corners, and every man knew who truly controlled the streets, whether the law admitted it or not. But power, no matter how carefully built, has a fragile edge. That night began quietly. Too quietly. Rain clung to the pavement like a warning. Streetlights flickered, halos trembling in the mist. Inside a modest brownstone, a woman waited, unaware that history was already moving toward her with guns drawn. She was more than just a wife. She was leverage. Miles away, engines idled. Men in white hoods sat in dark cars, their faces hidden not by fabric alone, but by belief that fear could still rule anywhere it was invited. They had crossed lines that had never been crossed before. And Harlem was about to answer. Pause. If you're drawn to stories where power, history, and fear collide, subscribe to this channel. It helps this story reach more listeners and keeps this series alive. Gunmetal at the door. The knock came hard. Too hard. No hesitation. No politeness. By the time the door opened, the guns were already raised. No names spoken. No explanations offered. Only steel, breath, and the unmistakable certainty that resistance would be fatal. Neighbors heard nothing. Harlem had learned long ago when to stay silent. She was taken into the night, forced into a car that smelled of gasoline and hatred. The city disappeared behind her as the engine roared south, away from protection, away from familiarity. This wasn't robbery. This wasn't intimidation. This was a message, and the men delivering it believed no one would dare answer back. They were wrong. Soft beat. Stories like this survive because of listeners like you. Subscribe to the channel to help it grow and keep these stories alive. Harlem finds out. The news didn't travel fast. It exploded. By sunrise, every barbershop, every card table, every back room knew. Phones rang that had never rung for favors. Men who hadn't spoken in years spoke again. This wasn't business. This was personal. Harlem didn't just feel threatened, it felt insulted. Meetings happened behind locked doors. Old alliances woke from the dead. Money, muscle, and influence aligned with a single purpose: bring her home alive. The streets changed that morning. Eyes watched longer. Cars followed slower. Even the police sensed something shifting, something heavy moving beneath the surface. Fear had entered Harlem, but it didn't belong there. Pause. If this story has your attention, subscribe. It tells the platform this history matters. The men who thought distance was safety. The kidnappers believed geography was protection. They underestimated reach. They underestimated memory. Every stop they made was noted. Every rumor traced. Every whispered lead followed. People who didn't exist on paper suddenly appeared where they were needed most. Someone talked. Someone always does. A farmhouse. A back road. A place chosen for isolation, not realizing isolation cuts both ways. Time stretched painfully for the woman inside. Hours felt like days. Every sound outside could mean rescue. Or the end. Meanwhile, Harlem closed in. Quiet. Intensity. To support long-form storytelling like this, subscribe to the channel. It truly helps. When fear changes sides, the first warning came silently. A man didn't return from a gas run. The second came louder. A body left where it could be found, carrying a message no one needed translated. Suddenly, the hunters understood something had gone terribly wrong. They weren't the ones in control anymore. Panic replaces ideology faster than anyone wants to admit. Loyalty evaporates. Belief crumbles when survival enters the room. And somewhere, locked behind a door, hope flickered. Beat. If you're still listening, subscribe. It keeps this channel growing. The trade no one wanted to make. Negotiation came not through words, but through consequences. No speeches. No demands. Just a simple understanding. This ends now. The exchange happened at dusk. No cameras, no witnesses, no forgiveness. She walked free, shaken, silent, alive. The men who took her faded into history, some disappearing entirely, others meeting quieter. Darker ends in the years that followed. Harlem exhaled. But it never forgot. Pause. For stories told with respect and depth, subscribe to the channel. Legacy of a line never crossed again. After 1947, certain boundaries held. Not because of law. Not because of morality. But because of memory. What happened that year became a warning passed quietly, never written down, never spoken too loudly. Some lines, once crossed, erase you from the future. And Harlem made sure the message was understood.